You might have heard on the last video, if you caught it, that I said that I'd had a bright idea, a brainwave I think I called it, for Friday night. Well, it's Friday night now, and this is the next video that you are going to see. We're actually starting a different video that's smallholding related, but this is just you and me in the greenhouse, and the brainwave that I've had is this. Let's have a glass of wine together, or a cup of tea, or a beer, or a glass of water, or whatever is your thing, depending on what time of the day it is, of course. I mean, it's not for me to judge. Anyway, Friday in the greenhouse. If you've been here a while, you may remember that we did this before, and it's kind of a seasonal thing. So every Friday night I am coming into the greenhouse with a glass of wine, and we're going to do our tomato cares. So I have got indeterminate tomatoes, which basically means I need to take the side shoots off because they are going to grow to an indeterminate amount or height. If I had the other kind, the bush variety of tomatoes, you see we're getting into it already, but let's just roll with it. If I had determinate varieties, they grow to a already predetermined size, but the types that I'm growing this year are indeterminate, which means who knows what they're going to do. So we're going to take out the side shoots, have a little chat along the way. Take out the side shoots and have a little chat along the way about an idea that I've got, that it's not just going to be a video of me taking out the tomato side shoots every Friday. I've got a little problem that I think I might have figured out how to resolve it. And if you're new here, this might seem like a bit of a shock, a bit of a surprise of a video, but don't switch off. Let's just see how it goes. So first of all, cheers everybody. It is Friday evening for me. We have been to work all week. We do have 2 teenagers to contend with and a whole host of animals, let alone each other in our marriage. That's Stephen and I. So, you know, by Friday, our tradition is sometimes to sit down, have a glass of wine and think, goodness me, we've made it. We've made it to the end of the week. But my tomatoes need taken care of, and needless to say, when I come out on a weekend, we work full time during the week, and on a weekend is usually our only time where we get full days to be able to tend to the garden and tend to the other things that need looking at. And that means that I would prefer not to be in here in the heat of the day looking after the tomatoes. If I can get those sorted out once a week, should be enough. On a Friday evening when it's cooled down, I mean, I say it's cooled down, it's 27.8 degrees centigrade in here at the moment, so it's still super warm for me. I don't do heat very well. But if I can get that out of the way on a Friday evening, that frees me up on a Saturday and a Sunday to be able to tend to all of the other things that I need to look after. So like I said, cheers, enjoy your evening. If you're watching this, I'm going to try and get it out for Saturday evening so you can sit and have whatever your tipple is on a Saturday evening as well. And these are the tomatoes that we're looking at this evening. But my plan is, first of all, let's to the cheers that I said. So I'm going to get on with these while we're talking, so you're going to have to excuse me for not looking at the camera all of the time. I'm just taking out the side shoots of the tomatoes that we were talking about. I'll get my little bucket and I'll put the side shoots in those buckets. But like I say, how very boring would it be if you were to watch me doing this every week? How very boring might it be for you to watch me doing this now? But hey ho, let's give it a go. My plan is, so one of the things that I struggle with working full time, like I was on about, I'm not looking for sympathy there, by the way, I'm just letting you know what the crack is. My plan, the thing that I struggle with is being able to film, edit and get everything out in a timely fashion without it being too stressful for everybody, but actually still being able to get on with all of the things that I need to get on with. And that'll be generally this time of the year in the garden. The animals do take up quite a bit of time. Oh look, there's another, flowers are coming on that. But generally the garden is what takes up most of the time. The weeds, the watering as we move into the hotter days, which we are definitely in at the moment. And I'm thinking, how can I continue to do the videos that I'm doing, because I really enjoy doing them. You know, we do get a little bit of money for doing these videos off YouTube, but I'm talking, you know, how much the average family would spend on a takeaway every month. That's how much we get paid. It's not a lot, and that's not a criticism, it's just to set expectations again. So we don't do this for the money, is where I'm coming from. We really enjoy making the videos, but also it's great for us to look back on, not just to share with everybody, but to look back on to see what we've achieved and what we might have done in a certain month, and how did the garden look in May of last year, and what was the weather like, because you know, as much as you think you might be able to remember, inevitably you can't, or I can't. Memory of a goldfish. So what I thought was, while I come in here on a Friday, I could share with you. So the problem, start again, get me bucket, put these in my little bucket, right. So sometimes during the week, you know, I don't always get to be able to film because there's a lot of other things going on, and you don't want to hear, you know, the family arguments and the usual, have you got your homework done, where are you going, put your phone down, all of these things that I'm sure every other family has that are in our sort of situation or chapter of life. You don't want to hear that. I don't want to share that, to be quite honest. So what I was thinking was, during the week I could just record but without speaking, because that's what puts me off, is that I can't always get to speak you know, without interruption, and that's not what people want to hear. They don't want to hear all of the interruptions. I mean, we always get interrupted by the cockerel or cockerels, and there's nothing that I can really do about that, shy of putting them on the table for Sunday dinner. So, you know, some things are out of my control in that respect, but it does put me off filming more often, because real life is always happening, and as much as people say, oh, we enjoy seeing real life, you know, there's a limit. So what I was thinking about doing is just recording what's happening during the week in the garden. This is, I'm talking in the garden, I'm not talking about necessarily smallholding related stuff or house related stuff. And then on a Friday, coming in the greenhouse and just chatting through what I've managed to achieve that week, asking you guys for any help on some of the things that I'm struggling with, which I do need some advice if anybody can help me on something that's happened with the garlic. And basically, as I'm talking through doing these tomatoes, instead of just watching me like you are now, which, like I say, will get very boring very quickly, I will overlay it with the footage that I've got during the week, which I wasn't speaking on. But I'll kind of talk you through what I've achieved and ask any questions where I need help, etc. And hopefully that'll give sugar, I just need to kill that tomato. Hopefully that'll give people, you know, the inspiration to get out on the weekend and do their own bits of gardening, and any advice that's been shared in the comments, people will benefit from it. So I'm going to give it a try. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But that's my plan for now. So yeah, you know, I'm out here most nights doing something or other. But like I say, I don't always feel like turning the camera on and chatting, because there might be something going on in the background that is not, you know, not ideal for the camera. Or some nights I just don't feel like talking. I'm sure everyone's the same. Well, maybe we're not, maybe it's just me. But I thought that is a good solution to try at least. And if it doesn't work, then we just don't do it. But I thought I'm going to give that a go. So that's not happening this week, so I haven't got any footage of what happened during the week this week. But I will take you guys out and have a look at the garlic just now, because I've started weeding the three, we call them the 3 skinny beds, which at the minute I've got 2 beds of onions in. Like I say, I'm going to, oh sugar, I've just massacred a tomato, sorry. I've got 2 onion beds and 1 garlic bed, and this is my outdoor garlic, and I've had a peek at it. The early purple seems to be doing the best, which you would expect. Concentrate so you don't kill this plant. And some of the others, oh my goodness, they just look disastrous, but they might be in the process of bulking up, so I'm not going to worry too much just yet. But I do want to empty those gaps. Look, blooming thing, he's going to be going to have a flying lesson. So yeah, they may bulk up, but I do need that garlic bed in kind of June time. Ideally I wanted these tomatoes that I'm pruning now to go in them. Some of them will go in the polytunnel. I haven't been keeping an eye on how close I am to the camera, so apologies if this is an extreme close-up and you're having your tea, or dinner as some people say. We say tea here. Breakfast, dinner and tea. Not breakfast, lunch and tea. Breakfast, dinner and tea. Oh, very northeast. And that's another thing as well. Stephen and I are from the northeast of England, so If you're watching us on 2x speed, then apologies in advance, because I can imagine that that sounds super scary. We talk very fast. We do try and slow down when we're chatting on YouTube, but it doesn't happen. We're fast talkers. And it has been brought up once or twice, so bear with us. Maybe you need to go on the, like, you know, the half speed rather than 2x speed. I didn't realise that people actually watch videos on 1.5 or 2x speed until somebody told me that they watched us on that many years ago. This is not recently, and I was like, what even is that? And it's quite funny listening to somebody in extra fast mode, especially if, like I say, if you're from the northeast like Stephen and I feel like I'm talking quite slowly at the moment, so hopefully everybody can understand what I'm saying. If not, put the subtitles on and have a good laugh. What was I saying? Hopefully these tomatoes will be the ones that go outside. I've put them in the slightly bigger pots for now. I mean, I don't know how many inches that is. It's, I don't know, is that, it's like half a ruler, so it's maybe six to 8 inch pots. So these should have enough space. They need a good water just now, actually. Let's try and do that without making too much noise on the camera. So I'm hoping that they will be okay in these pots for a little while, and then eventually they will go in the polytunnel, and in those beds that I was just telling you about, we will go over and have a look at them just now. But that does mean that the garlic needs to come out, and I'm not too sure how that's going to work. Right, I'm going to not edit this video, all being well, so sorry for the awkward moments where I'm trying to get everything sorted. That snail is just sat there contemplating his life at the minute. I've got one of these kind of extendable hose things, and you can turn them down. That's going to be too loud for the camera. Tell you what, let me get these watered, have some more wine, and then we'll reconvene. It's only going to be a short one, don't worry. Oh, lovely. Right, that is them watered. I might need to give them another dosing, because you think that you've watered enough and then generally you haven't. Now, before we go outside, let's have a quick greenhouse update. Do you remember the squash saga? So these guys need to go into bigger pots this weekend. We can do that sat outside in the shade. The red onion squash, I've got one. I'm going to guard that with my life, because I really want plenty of those, because I've got some recipes that I want to try. So this was my saga of squash, along with these guys on the floor down here. Done with. Not even going to spend any more time worrying about them, because I have got these here that I only sowed, what was the 13th, I think, I can't remember, literally a couple of days ago. I don't know where we are now, but look, the red onions still haven't come up, so I'm wondering if the seed were a little bit dodgy. So I definitely will be looking after this one, as I say, guarding it with my life. I won't be putting that out in the garden for the slugs to get. Apparently this year people are being decimated by the slugs and the snails. I've ordered some slug collars, and I've also dried some eggshells, and the other thing I'm going to try is diatomaceous earth. We'll talk about that in a different video. I'm probably going to include that this week and talk about that next Friday's video, but that's the plan. Now look at these are coming up already. You can see I've even sown 2 seeds per pot in a desperate attempt, just in case they didn't germinate, and on some instances 2 of them are coming up, so I'm really pleased about this. Sweet dumpling, the sucrine de berry, and the, however you say it, the marina de chogia are still not showing, so I'm thinking that the seeds might be faulty, whatever the phrase is for seeds. Anyway, we shall see how they get on, because these have germinated a lot quicker than I thought. So again, guarding these with my life. These are desperate for a water. Look, I'm going to fill this tray. Borlotti beans at the back here. Now this stick here means that this is an overwintered tomato. So country, that's snapped, that's going to come off. These are they called country taste? I do this every time. They're a potato leaf variety, you can see, but look, very dry. So I'm going to get those watered as well. But before I do, because the noise of the water will be too much for the camera, I'll come in, I'll get these tomatoes all side shooted and taken off, and I also need to water. Let's have a look. Yeah, they're feeling really dry. Oh my goodness, look. Oh yes, we've got our first Anaheim. Oh, that's so good. Can you tell that I'd not seen that before? Fantastic. As I'm walking along, we're just having a look together and seeing if there's any more. The reason I'm going so slow is I'm walking along the edge of the bed, and I'm not a very well balanced person. Right, let's go down here. So at the back we have got some more courgettes and squash that are starting to germinate. What a strange tail on these. What does this mean? Why are the beans doing this? Like, they're coming up as if they've got no... How do you explain that? Like, what a strange germination. This variety is the Rock and Co. So if you know what's wrong with those and why they're germinating like that, please do tell me. In here we've got all kinds of other, what's this? Oh, there's all sorts of different varieties in here. I'll take you through those separately because I don't have the packets with me to tell you what they are. The Helder beans, they look like they're germinating quite well. The Cupidon are completely dud. Now, Greek Gigantes, don't fall over. They're going out this weekend. I'll do a separate video on those as part of the weekend vlog that we're doing. Thrilled that we're getting some more beans there. And look at all of these. These are tomato seeds from where the tomatoes dropped off the plants last year. So there might be a few volunteers, to say the least. There's loads. But what we are seeing is an amazing, absolutely fantastic blueberry year. I've just read a few people's posts on Instagrams that are saying that they're having an absolutely amazing fruit harvest. So I'm really pleased about that. I am watering with tap water in here. It's not ideal, but that's all we've got. And the onions, do you remember the onion saga? So these were last year's onions that were the year before's seeds. So they seem to be doing okay. I'm getting away with it. So I'm really pleased. These onions will just be eaten as and when we need them to free up the space. And I'll also grow some more. I'm not too sure what crops I'll grow in here because it's going to be too hot in the height of the summer for the lettuce and things like that, but we'll see, we'll get there. And look here, we've got the tomatillos. This guy is having a rest, so we need to make sure that I'll get some canes in for them this weekend as well. And then the other thing that I'm really pleased about is all of the other seeds that I put into this. Sorry, I'm just working around all of the mess that I've got in here. The seeds that I put in this propagator. Let's turn you around. We're starting to see germination. Look, courgettes are coming up, thank goodness. Who would have thought I'd be so pleased to see courgettes? By the end of the season, you're sick of them. That's those 1,500-year-old beans. They were found like in a cave or something. Caraflex. No, that's not Caraflex. That's something else which I can't remember, but I'd run out of labels. I've got my my hands on the other part of the propagator, so I can't turn the thing around at the minute to see, but we'll have a look. And then baked spud, baked potato squash variety, cannot go without those. Remind me what this is. Oh, sweet corn, absolutely fantastic. The sweet corn is going outside as soon as possible. These tomatoes are desperate to be potted on, hasn't happened just yet. Let's cover these back up with one hand. Oh, and the other things are the cucumbers in there, which, let me show you where they've ended up. Again, trying to edit this as little as possible, so apologies in advance for that. These cucumbers here, this one needs a stick, a cane. I don't know if the gherkins are cucumbers, but they're doing really well. But the one outside that I know that is definitely a cucumber is this one over here. This is a Tamara cucumber. She will climb, but she needs a cane. Hasn't happened yet. And I'm such an idiot. I told you guys there was spinach and I think I said rocket in here. I've sown basil and rocket. I totally forgot that I'd sown basil and then I went and put rocket in. So let's just see who wins on that one. And look, these are the radish that we got in as well. They are germinating super quickly. So there's radish in this front bit, and it's scallions, or what do people call them, spring onions in the back, lemon verbena, and then this is the salad that we've sown as well. And then these are from the plug plants that I had, that I'd sown those a lot earlier in the year. Now let's go and have a look at the garlic. So it was mentioned in the comments, I think Mick said, about how long it takes to weed. It is literally, it could be a full-time job. We will never ever, whilst we're working, be on top of all of the weeds. And when I say all of the weeds, I mean in the pathways, underneath the wood of the raised beds, etc. You know, the priority is the beds, obviously, the beds that I've got the vegetables in. It's just not going to happen. So yes, it is absolutely a huge job to stay on top of the weeds. And what I've done tonight after work, I came out and I started working on these beds. So this is an onion bed. These are from sets. I don't know, I'm thinking I might just stick to sets next year or this year, I'm not too sure. Anyway, these were autumn sown, coming on really, really nicely. Weeded it for the majority and took the nets off. The nets really are only stopping the cats now. Now, what I wanted to ask advice on, these are all of my garlic. So this is the early purple, seems to be doing nicely, coming along really well. The others seem to be doing terribly. Absolutely, this hasn't split, absolutely terribly. And then if I look in this one, it's like non-existent. It's the tiniest piece of garlic clove ever. Anyway, but that's not what I wanted to ask. It was this. What's going on with all these like extra crinkly bits that are coming out? I've never seen. Oh, let me get in here and show you. There just seems to be, can you see there? They just seem to be having like loads of kind of really small offshoots, leaves. I don't know how you would even describe it. So is that something I need to worry about? I mean, it's too late if I do need to worry. Scape coming, we'll be eating those. I'm going to try pickling some of those this year. But yeah, I'm pleased with how it's looking. I can't remember if the scape that's coming, if it's off a hard neck or if it's a soft neck that's bolting, but either way we'll figure it all out. It'll all get eaten. So I'm really pleased with how this bed is looking. And then I've also weeded this bed, and I've just put some of the weeds down the pathway here, and I'm going to cover those up with some ground membrane. But these are also onions too. And then behind them, literally behind the ones we've just been looking at, this bed's still got the net on, obviously. There's red onions for the majority in this bed. Well, certainly at the front. I can't remember without looking at the back. This year I said I didn't want to run short on onions because I did last year. That's why we've got so many. So I think you can see some are obviously red. I think there's a mix looking at them, if I remember rightly. I might have done one row of each, but I can't remember. It was a long time ago. So this weekend, get this net off, get it weeded, check on everything. And I think what I'm going to do, if I just spin you around, don't get sick, I'm going to rake up in between them, almost like you would potatoes, just to give them a little bit of extra kind of support, because some of them are flopping a little bit, and just try and give them that little bit extra support to stand up for the last period of their growing season, really. I forgot to bring my wine with me, it's in the greenhouse still. So that's the start of the plan for, so that's the plan for tomorrow. The other thing I'm going to be doing on the Friday evening is just having a walk around, and I'll have already formed a plan for the weekend, well, for the next blooming 6 years, knowing me. But what I'll be doing on the Friday is prioritising the job. So for me, I want to get that net off, I want to get those onions. They look like they need a bit of water, to be honest. I might try and put a mulch on if I can find anything, but we are fast running out. And then there's the other jobs that I've been putting off, getting those leeks out that are they're just sat there looking at me. You know, so there's other things that on a Friday I'll be thinking, need to prioritise this, this and this for the weekend. Then I'll do a different video that'll probably incorporate more smallholding related stuff and garden stuff. But every now and again I will. Sorry, I got cut off there. I think I was saying sometimes we will have smallholding related videos on the weekend which incorporate the gardening, but also talking about more smallholding stuff. And other times, probably more so when Stephen's at work, I will be doing just gardening videos. But I was talking about how can I get more gardening videos out, because I don't have time all the time to just wander around and talk to you guys like this. But I love sharing it. And I think that just videoing it when I'm doing it, but not thinking about what I'm saying, and then talking about it on the Friday and overlaying it, is going to be the best way forward. So that's the brainwave that I had. I mean, other people have brainwaves that are actually like proper brainwaves, but that was mine. I'm going to sign off for now because somebody has just appeared in front of me that is looking extremely hungry and would like feeding for the night. So that's me done. Thank you for joining me in the greenhouse on this Friday evening, and I will talk to you very soon for a small holding video and then lots more kitchen garden videos. Bye. Nearly forgot about him. Look at that. That's your last. I didn't even think that they ate tomato plants. Say goodbye. Go for a flying lesson.